So basically I'm going to be showing you guys my makeup routine because it has been highly requested. Are we serious? Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to go from this to this. Okay, let's get on into it. So first things first, I'm going to pin my hair back with these frame R clips. So now we're going to go in with the first step, which is primer. And yes, I already did all my skincare and moisturizer and stuff like that. So this is literally just the makeup. So let's get into it. So first things first is I'm going to use the e.l.f. poreless primer, and I only use this one where you would like where I have pores, and then we're gonna use the e.l.f. Power Grip primer on the rest of my face. I dropped the cap. They're both from e.l.f., but I literally love these two, so I just rub it in with my hands, and yeah. Now I'm just gonna let it dry for a second, so I'm gonna wait like a minute or two. Okay, it's been a few minutes, so now we're gonna get into the rest of the makeup, and that's the only step that you have to like wait a second. So the rest of this is just gonna be rolling. So first things first is I'm breaking out really bad right now, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of the Shape Tape concealer in shade 35H or Honey, medium honey, and I'm just gonna lightly tap the little like blemishes, except for this one on my lip, but I completely missed it. So all of my brushes are this set from e.l.f. And I love it so much. So we're gonna use the putty bronzer brush. I know that this is not what this is supposed to be used for, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So for the actual like base, we're gonna mix two products again. So we're going to use the Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury in shade 4.5, and we're going to mix it with the Say Glowy Super Gel in the shade Warm Glow. I know some people were like losing their minds because people were using this as foundation, but I personally love it. This is a bit much, but I personally love it, so I'm not sure what all that's about, but I literally just like twirl the brush around my face. Now we're gonna mix the Say in, and I just kind of like put it wherever that's kind of a lot. That's a lot of both of the products, but it's okay. So now we're going to use the Flawless Face brush, and we're just gonna mix it together. That way it creates a super glowy skin like tint almost. I also, when I do my eyes or like my eyelids, I like to like pinch the brush like this, just down, so I can like go over my eyelid. And I don't know where I learned that or why I started doing that, but I did it and it stuck. So now it's a constant practice. Now we're left with this. Then we're gonna go back in with the concealer, but we're gonna put it where you would normally put concealer. So we're gonna do a little dab under the eyes, and then on the chin, and right there on the forehead. Back in with the putty bronzer brush, and just dab it out again, like so. Okay, so now this is the base of the face, and now we get to start adding dimension and like blush and bronzer and all that stuff. So we're gonna go in with the contour. This is the ColourPop contour stick in shade Iguana, I believe. Iguana Beach. I don't know, it's kind of wearing off, but just gonna go like this. And then under my cheekbone on both sides, my forehead, just like that, and then a tiny, tiny bit right here on my nose. Now we're gonna use the powder brush. It's super like fluffy and firm to blend the bronzer out. So now the nose. This is like the scariest part. I also pinch the brush for this. I'm not sure why I always pinch the brush, but we're just gonna lightly do that. And I'm just gonna kind of like swing it up. I don't really know how to explain this. And then I just make sure that all of it is blended out. Because there's one time that I literally almost left the house and the contour right here was not blended. And I was like, oh crap. And it was like 2 minutes before I was leaving. So I was like, oh, that's not good. But now that the contour is done, we're gonna move on to the next step, which is my favorite, if you know me. It's bronzer. I love, 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 love bronzer, okay? This is my holy grail. It is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Off to Costa Rica palette. I actually don't use any of the other things in this palette. I just use the bronzer. So this is the bronzer. You can see she has hit pan, but I love it. So we're gonna use the e.l.f. complexion brush and just like go like this, and then I'm just gonna like hit it twice on the palette so that it doesn't like, so that there's not like excess on it, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. Also, I am aware that I have bronzer blindness, okay? I am very self-aware of that, but you know what? I honestly, I don't think that there's a thing as too much bronzer, so you know what? It is what it is. Okay, so now that we're done with the bronzer, which is literally my favorite part ever, then we're gonna go in with blush. I actually use two different blushes that low-key kind of hate each other, because we have the Rare Beauty blush and then we have the Rhode, where's the label? The Rhode blush. Are we serious? Okay, the lights are back on. We're gonna use the Rhode one because that's the one I've been using most recently, even though I love Rare Beauty, but this is in shade Piggy, I believe, but we're gonna use this one next. And I'm just gonna kind of like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I do like 3 to 4 like swooshes, I guess. And then we're gonna use the blush brush and blend it upwards. I feel like the Rare Beauty I have is in the shade Happy, I think. Yes, it's in the shade Happy. And I feel like that is more of like a rosy tone that you get like, you know, when you're blushing or you're happy. And I feel like this blush color is more of a color you get when you're like burnt or tan. And that's like my favorite thing in the world. So there is that. Okay, there's only a few more steps left, but now we're gonna do the Charlotte Tilbury pressed powder in shade medium 2 or 2 medium. I have to find a powder puff, but this one's a tad bit dirty, but we're just gonna grab a powder puff. This one's from like Ulta, and I'm just gonna like lightly tap it in, not too much, but just a little bit. And then I'm also gonna do my chin and my forehead. And there it is. So now we only have, what, 4, 5? Something like that. More steps left. So we're gonna use this Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Flaunt. Just kind of like dab the tiniest bit on my nose, and then I take a fan brush and I'm just going to kind of like do this and like rub it across lightly so that it has a little bit of pigment, and then I'm just gonna lightly like fan it off. Now we're gonna do the eyebrows. So I actually only use 2 products, but they're both from the same brand. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills, and that's where both of these are from. So this is the Anastasia Brow Pencil in shade Medium, and this is the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. What I do is I just lightly take a tiny bit and just ever so slightly like feather it onto my eyebrows. Lightly. That way it doesn't look super crazy. And this pencil is actually dual-ended, so one end is the little pencil itself and the other end is a little spoolie. So we're just gonna use the spoolie to kind of place it like this. And we're gonna use the little pencil to fill in any little gaps, just like this. There are 2 more steps, but we're gonna go into setting spray and then eyelashes, okay? Listen, I don't know why I do this. I always have, probably always will. But we're going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is one of my favorite setting sprays. The other setting spray I have is very fun. This one is the One Size Glitter Spray. I use like 3 pumps maybe. Also, I refilled this thing like twice. So, my holy grail right here. But I just, like that. Maybe 1 or 2 more just in case for safe measures. And then the little click. I love the click. Now, I just go in with the little powder puff and just touch up my under eye really quickly. And then we're gonna go into lashes and lips. So the only mascara I use is the FanFest mascara from Benefit. So I just stab myself in the eye. Why does this always happen to me? Now that that's gone, we're gonna touch up the Shape Tape just a tad bit, just so that it doesn't look like that happened. And then we're gonna use this little Babe Lash thing and just make sure they're not clumpy. And I just like go like this. So now we're gonna do lip. I love lip liners with like my whole heart. These are like the main ones I own. I'm not really sure which one I'm gonna use. I feel like I wear this one when I wear like red or something, and I'm not doing red. So I don't know which one of these we should do. I did this one last time, so maybe let's do this one and change it up a little bit. So this one is from Ulta Beauty in the shade Petal. That's what she looks like. It's so cute. And I'm just gonna like, not really overline, but like slightly. Like that. And then we're gonna choose a lip gloss. I own so many lip glosses, but one of my all-time faves is this NYX Butter Gloss. And I literally rebought like 8 of these. Not gonna lie to you. That is the final makeup tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see in the future. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching.